Welcome everybody to another edition of Latto Talk, where we discuss all things related to mixed race people. I'm Mvlato, and tonight we're going to be talking about universities and how I don't believe they are our allies. But this live isn't meant for me to sit here and preach to you, so I want y'all to be part of the conversation, so contribute as much as you can. You can find my lives every Friday night at 8 here on TikTok. My handle is at Mongrel Uprising. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram at Papa Mvlaton. My YouTube has a lot of my long form content and clips from my lives. So subscribe, follow, and let's hang. Hey Mulatto Genesis, good to see ya. How's it going? Everything's going good over here. Everything's good on my end, yeah? It's a good Friday night. Before we're just hitting the weekend, right before Christmas. It's gonna be fun. I see Kev Ben is here. What's up? Good to see everybody. Cartoon Clip says, what's the end goal with your content? My content is mainly for us to have a community, like an IRL community. It's not something that's super easy. I liken it to starting a restaurant because like starting a restaurant isn't super tough. Like you do have to put work and effort into it, but you can do it. Like most people can draft a business plan and find some business partners and start a restaurant. But restaurants almost always fail. I think it's the majority of restaurants that open usually fail. For many reasons, obviously finances or not fully understanding what they're getting themselves into. But I feel like communities are like that as well. I've done like some surface level research on different intentional communities, and that seems to be a good comparison because, you know, starting a community is not something super easy, but it's not super difficult to start. You know, you just need a few people to move to a location and boom. But man, that's something that's something very difficult to maintain, you know, because people have to be on the same page about so many different things we tend to overlook. You know, it's like when you have like a roommate. You know, someone that was your friend and then they become your roommates and then things are just totally different. Your relationship with them changes because you're in a completely new dynamic. And so, yeah, that's my goal. And I think that's the way to look at it. But I think it's possible. I found enough people in this space that are serious enough about it. So I feel pretty good. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. One thing that's a little strange to me though is I've noticed like a lot of, or maybe not a lot, but I've noticed a few like content creators in this space who either just like drop off or stop making content, disappear, and I don't know why that's kind of like a theme occurring with us. But just for the record, I have no intentions of like stopping this. I want to try to be able to continue doing this and maintain that goal and keep moving it forward. Cartoon Clip says, I'm glad more mixed people are starting to talk about their experiences. It's completely changed the mindset I had about my own mixed experiences. Yeah. You know, one of the things that I was wondering before I even started making content was like, why isn't there like a lot of mixed race content? You know, whenever, you know, 5 years ago or so, whenever I would search for it, it would usually just be a few videos or maybe like a small short documentary and never really too in depth. No real goal, I guess, kind of more just saying like, here are our experiences, you know? And I felt like, man, I really need to start making content, you know? And I'd thought about it for years. And I only like pulled the metaphorical trigger, in February of this year. Yeah. Cartoon clips. I used to make content a few months ago, but they banned me. Really? Did they say why they banned you? Because I think that's something that's also happening. I know one thing I did not predict going into this was that we would face a lot of suppression and bannings. Like, I did not expect that at all, because most of the time we're not even like talking politics or anything. We're not talking about, foreign wars in different places, but now it seems obvious that we're kind of going against a certain orthodoxy. Yeah. We're going up against an established power, and it's Blk people. And you cannot cross them, because a lot of the people that run these platforms, even though they themselves may not be Blk, they're going to protect Blk people at any cost. They literally can run around here on almost any platform, behaving like supremacists, and they'll get no they'll get no pushback. They'll get protected. They won't get banned. Mulatto Genesis says probably because they get shitted on by monoracials constantly. Yeah, that does happen, obviously. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I love that part. I love when people are challenging my beliefs and challenging the things that I believe in. Like, every now and then I'll get a comment from somebody that really makes me think about something. And I actually enjoy that. Like, I want people to challenge my beliefs, because that's something that I try to do on my own. But I don't know. I guess some people don't like that. And also just the pure hate that we get too. Because sometimes people do not make constructive arguments against us that I can welcome. Some people just straight up hate us. They just do not like us. And so that can weigh on a person, especially a content creator, because, content creation, depending on how you do it, it can be a lot of work. And also you're kind of putting yourself out there. So people are literally going to just attack you for any reason. You can make a video about X and they'll attack you for Y, some other than BS thing, Cartoon Clip says, responding to Mulatto Genesis, a lot of mixed people are afraid to go against the grain because they think their community is too small for that, but there's tens of millions of us. Yeah, there's tons of us. We've got the numbers. Unfortunately, it's just that we're all over the place. There's no, as far as I know, there's no like concentrated place where there are mixed race people. And that's kind of, the whole kind of point of a community. But yeah, a lot of mixed people, they're just afraid to go against Blk people. For whatever reason, maybe they actually live around them, and that could be an issue. You're definitely going to get attacked online. And it's so obvious that they will try to destroy your life. Yeah, they'll try to cancel you because you dare try to have your own identity. You dare try to assert yourself and try to build something that they can't control. So they'll attack you. They'll get YT people to attack you. And so a lot of mixed race people have kind of assessed the situation, and they're like, you know what? I better just keep my mouth shut, or I better do my best to just believe whatever BS they're spouting, But I don't know. I'm not like that. I'm just, I can't do that. Mulatto Genesis says, I love it too. Some people are less confrontational. Yeah. I can understand, you gotta be careful, assess the situation, and act accordingly when it comes to confrontation. But yeah, some people just don't like conflict in general. And that's fine. Maybe maybe that's you discovering you're not made to make content. Maybe your contribution to Lattos and a Latto community is something else, you know. But if you can handle it and you like to talk a lot, you've got a lot on your mind, then yeah, you should do it. And I think the more like content creators we have, the better, because I think, you know, all it takes is for like one of us to really like blow up, and then that's just going to elevate all of us, hopefully, assuming it's, you know, someone who's genuine, and in it for the right reasons and not just for the fame and the money. But yeah, if one of us just blows up, get super popular, then people will see that. People will see this person and see them identifying as Latto, see him identifying as mixed. And then that will open the door for other people to start doing the same. Because when you see someone in a high position, a high status position or something like that, and they're identifying that way, you know, knowing the hate that they're going to get, knowing all the struggles that they're going to have to go through by asserting that mixed race identity, other people are going to follow. This reminds me of a study. Man, there was a study. Let me see if I can find the image of that study. Let's see. It was a study about the length of bars to test groupthink or something like that. I can't remember what it was. Okay, I think I found the image for it, but I wanted to get like a summary of the. Okay, I'll read some comments and then I'll show you all the picture. Nicole says, "What are you talking about?" Right now, I'm just talking about general issues affecting mixed race people, specifically affecting Lattos, stuff like that. Cartoon Clip says, maybe Cape Verde, Dominican Republic, Colombia, Brazil. I've thought about moving there. They love playing plantation politics and threatening us with the white man. Oh, yeah. Those are some cool places. Yeah, they got a lot of mixed people. I like all those places. I don't know too much about Cape Verde, but Dominican Republic, Colombia, and Brazil, I know quite a bit. I speak all of those languages too, Portuguese and Spanish. Cape Verde is the only one that's kind of far, but yeah. All right, awesome. Thank you, everybody that's here. Glad to have you here. We're at 1.3K. Let's get to 1.5. Let's tap that screen. Let's get to 1.5. Also, share the live if you can. I've already shared it with a few individuals, but I can't share it in group chats. So if y'all can do that, if anybody's in the group chats, y'all can share it. Thanks. Let me see. Okay, so the image I wanted to show y'all, to kind of give y'all an example of kind of like how people think in groups and things like that. Let me copy this link. Oh, it's super tiny, but let's see. Okay, so there was a study done, and in the study they showed a group of people these two images, yeah. And the point is, they would ask the people, okay, the line on the left, the vertical line on the left, compare it to the vertical lines on the right, and then say which one is it closest to, like as far as the length of it. You know, is A closest to the length of the line on the left? Is it B or is it C? Now, the obvious answer is that this is C. C is the line that is closest to the vertical line on the left, yeah? But in this study, they weren't really testing like your, visual acuity or anything like that. What they were really testing is how you would respond when you're like in a group. So they had one person in this group of people, and every other person in that group was an actor paid by the scientist. And the whole point of the actors was to give deliberately the wrong answer. So we all believe that we all see that the right answer is C, but all the actors would say, nah, it's B. B is the correct answer. Yeah? That line on the left is closest in length to B on the right. And so the one person that was actually being studied, that wasn't an actor, he would respond last. And then almost every time that they did this study, I can't remember the exact percentage, but in a majority of the instances, the person that they were actually studying that was in the group just went along with what everybody else said. So all the actors deliberately gave the wrong answer, and the actual guy, the actually non-actor guy in the group who didn't know they were actors, he just went along with the wrong answer and was like, yeah, it's B. Even though likely in his head, he knew it was C. So they performed this study again in a different setting, but this time they had only one of the actors give the correct answer, which is C. So all the actors gave the wrong answer B, except for one actor that said it was C. And in that instance, when only one other person in the group gave the correct answer, then the actual person they were studying in the group, I think it was like 90+% of the time, would go along with that one person that gave the correct answer. Yeah? So I probably butchered that explanation. Hopefully y'all understood. But the point is, a lot of times there's a certain orthodoxy, there's a certain group belief, and there could be a ton of people in the group who disagree with that group belief, but they won't go against it unless a single person does. If a single person speaks out, then others are more likely to speak out. And that's the point that I was trying to make. I can't remember who brought it up in the chat, but the idea is that when we speak up, people are going to listen to us, see us speaking against this kind of orthodoxy that exists, that mixed people are black, and then they're gonna view that as a viable option. Identifying as mixed, identifying as Latto, they're gonna view it as, okay, that's something I can do. And I've kind of always thought that I was different from all these other groups. And so when they see us asserting our identity, not being ashamed of anything, resisting all the attackers, then I think we're more likely going to see people come to our side on this. Molly says, why are you showing us a map of the Americas? 'Cause it's beautiful. It's beautiful, ain't it? I like maps. Yeah, maps are awesome. Cartoon Clip says, Nate is a monitoring spirit. I have no idea what you mean. Okay, let's see. I see Mulatto's here. What's up, man? Mvlatta Premium, good to see you. Moon and Stars, good to see you too. Glad to see everybody coming in here. Cartoon Clip says, Nate doesn't like mixed people. I don't know who Nate is. Is Nate somebody in the chat? I can't see. Let's see. Mvlato says, hey, man. Okay, so the topic list for today. Let's get the topics up real quick, just so y'all know. I think it's this one. So, universities are not our allies. I'll explain why, but I think it's kind of obvious, but it's something I've been kind of noticing. I want to talk about Latto unity. There's so many ways that people will try to divide us, but we need to stick together. I wanted to discuss our accomplishments this year, what we've done, and how well we've done it. And then goals for next year, obviously, and then different content strategies. Yeah. I think I already mentioned this before, but I think a good content strategy for those of you who make content is for us to start making a little bit more non-mixed related content. Yeah. And I'm not sure how many people are doing that. I know there's a few, but I think, you know, sprinkling that a little bit here and there is going to help us out a lot. It'll definitely get more eyeballs towards us. So if you, let's say you don't really want to make like mixed related content, but you're passionate about some other thing, you know, you can make content in that. You know, content creation is a lot easier. It's a lot better. It's a lot more fun whenever you're doing something that you're super passionate about. Yeah. Cartoon Clip says he's watching the live right now. Oh, okay. I can't see everybody. Oh, okay. I see Nate, who you're talking about. Okay, yeah. For sure, it happened to me. My life has transformed in so many ways after coming to terms with my mixed heritage, and it's all because other mixed people spoke up. I'm no longer the light-skinned savior. Yeah. Yeah, it's really important, yeah, to speak up. Specifically online, it's a little different in the real world. I think the dynamic is a little bit different because you don't want to be one of those people that's always, I don't know, making everything about race or just randomly bringing up race and like, hey, I'm mixed, look at me, or something like that. You know, there's a line you have to walk when it comes to the real world. But if you're mixed, it's almost guaranteed someone else will bring up the issue of race. You don't have to do it. You could just walk into some kind of social event and someone's going to be like, so what are you? They will do that. And then in that moment, you just tell them what you are. Yeah. And, you know, no shame whatsoever. I remember this one time I was playing at a bar because I used to I used to be a singer-songwriter, and I would like go to bars and play different gigs and stuff like that. And one time I was playing a set and I saw this couple, you know, there at the bar, and after my set was done, they came up to me and I can't remember their exact words, but essentially they were saying something like the whole time I was like singing, they were trying to figure out like what was my ethnic makeup, you know, my racial makeup. And so they asked me that. And I can't remember the response I gave, but I think I trolled them. I gave them like some ambiguous answer because sometimes if I'm in the mood, I'll just give like a straight answer. I'll be a little more open and forthcoming about it. But at that moment, I wanted to just troll them. So I told them, I believe I told them certain things about me that were true, but still didn't give them the information they wanted. Because, you know, they always want to know like the race of your parents and then which parent is which, you know? And so, you know, sometimes I like to do that. You know, I know sometimes people get a little annoyed when that question gets brought up, like, oh, what are you? You know, my way to deal with it is just have fun. Just have fun. You know, I remember this other time I was on a train platform, and this black guy who was just like, you know, standing up, chilling there. He asked me, "Are you Korean?" Like, I wasn't even close to the guy. I was like, you know, walking towards him, but I wasn't even close. And he just shouts out, "Are you Korean?" And I thought that was so funny. And I'm like, no, I'm not. that was an instance where I just told them, told them what I was. I don't think at that time I was identifying as Mvlato, but I just told them, and that was, I don't know, that was so funny. I see Iberian's here. What's up, man? Let's see. If anybody wants to come up, you're welcome to come up on the panel. Like I said, I don't, sometimes I don't really like just being up here and like preaching. I like to let y'all have a voice. So if y'all want to come up, that's fine. Otherwise, I will, I think I'll get into it. I think we're about 30 minutes in, 28 minutes. Because I found out something interesting. So the first topic I'll show y'all is going to be universities are not our allies. So today I found this group that I thought was super cool. I thought they were super cool. So it's a group called Critical Mixed Race Studies Association. Now, when I saw that, the word critical was a bit of a red flag for me. I was like, something's off. But whenever I looked at their Instagram, there was nothing like really outrageous there. Normandy, thank you for the lightning bolt. Good to see you here. But the word critical, like you've heard of critical race theory, you've heard of critical this, critical that. It's kind of associated with a certain ideology, let's say. So at first, like I said, I was suspicious of that, but on their page, they apparently have like these events. It's biannual, and it's like an event for mixed race people. And it's like all different kinds of mixed race. Whenever you look at the photos on their website, they're all different, types of mixes, stuff like that, which is cool. I thought it was pretty interesting. And I was like thinking like, man, this might be a good opportunity for us to like, go to these events, network with other people, make some friends, find some allies, So I went to their website and I was perusing it. And again, I saw some things that were a little bit questionable, but not a big deal. And then I found the actual questionable thing, the very questionable thing that I'm about to show you right now. And it's an article on their page. Let's see. So this is their page. Hopefully y'all can see that. All right. Critical Mixed Race Studies. Okay. And that was the problem. Yeah, that was the problem. But it gets worse, okay? It gets worse. So for those of you just listening, it says, in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. Okay? Now, I don't think I need to explain to this audience why that right there is a problem, but I will. Okay? I don't know if y'all knew this, but Black Lives Matter is a hate group. They spent a lot of time destroying many cities. Hold on. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results because it contains unoriginal, unproduced content. Appeal. Okay, I'll take it off the screen. Damn. Apparently, I can't just show a website. TikTok doesn't want me showing a website, so. Iberian Mulatto says, critical is one of those words that should never be trusted. Yeah, it's definitely a red flag. But yeah, so like I said, BLM, they spent a long time destroying a bunch of cities, destroying a bunch of neighborhoods, attacking innocent people. A lot of their goals were really seemed to be based in like a supremacy of their people. Yeah. There were some instances where the outrage was justified, you know, certain cases of these interactions with like police and stuff. But I think for the most part, it was basically an organization that was just defending criminals. Yeah. Criminals that were, that got caught, didn't want to get caught. Criminals that were attacking police. And I'm by no means like a super fan of police in America, but I don't think a BLM was an appropriate reaction. So if I go down, let me read this. I can't show y'all because apparently on TikTok you can't show websites because that's considered unoriginal content. Okay, whatever. All right. So it starts off with saying, we, the board of the Critical Mixed Race Studies Association, appreciate the statements of solidarity in support of Black Lives Matter. Yet, we also acknowledge that many of those do not come with the substantiated action behind them. In order to address this within our association, we are clear where we stand and will do more than just acknowledge systemic problems of white supremacy, anti-Blackness, and racial justice. Yeah, more buzzwords. And not our buzzwords. Those are the buzzwords of some other group. Yeah. Thank you everybody for getting me to 4K likes. Let's keep it going. Let's get the likes up. Share the live if you can. Also, I'll use this time to like shill my YouTube. Go follow me on YouTube, Papa Mulaton. Yeah, Papa Mulaton. I have a lot of my long form content there. So that's usually the only place where I have like my long form content. Oh, Joe, thank you for sending the confetti. Thank you so much. That reminds me of a song in Spanish. I don't know if I can say that. Que mi piñata tire confetti. Yo también lo haré, que tú quieres repetir. Okay, so yeah, go follow me on YouTube. Subscribe, Papa Mulaton. Go check that out. I also post some clips of my lives. So if you ever miss a live, like you can go there and check it out. Okay. So let me read the chats. Congo Money, good to see you here, man. Peace to this the Saints and Aints. Yeah, good to see you, man. Iberian says Bantuism, it is being promoted way too much. Yeah. The supremacy is off the charts. Congo Money says, Konnichiwagwan? I know Konnichiwa. Konnichiwagwan? What is that? Iberian says, gotcha. Okay, let me continue this. I won't read the whole thing, but I'm going to highlight some of the egregious parts of this, okay? And again, we're reading the website of a group called Critical Mixed Race Studies Association. They are, I believe, specifically an association with a group of universities, I think DePaul University in Minnesota, and they may have connections to some other universities. But it's an organization that you can join, and they have events every year or biannually. And we're reading a page under their About Me section, and it's called BLM Statement in solidarity with BLM. So let me continue. They say, anti-Blackness and white supremacy must be destroyed. As mixed-race, multiracial individuals, we must recognize our long-standing role in perpetuating anti-Blackness, including colorism within our various communities. So tell me how you're supposed to be like studying mixed-race people, and on your page, right, what I just read, you're just shitting on them right now. You are just shitting on them. It's you're saying we have a role. You don't even know who we are. They don't know who I am. They don't know who any of you are. in the chat watching me, but they know that you play a long-standing role in perpetuating anti-Blkness. Okay. It sounds like you're subservient to some other group. It doesn't sound like you're actually interested in like mixed race people and the issues affecting them. Nope, I'm not buying it. Cartoon Clip says, is it run or largely worked on by mixed race people? I believe so. They have pictures on their website. Let's see. I'll see if I can show y'all some quick pictures. Because like I said, TikTok apparently doesn't like me showing you websites. Because that's unoriginal content. Can I not? Okay, so this is the president, Dr. Chandra, secretary, Kevin Wong, treasurer, Jacob P. Wong, wow, a whole bunch of Asians, graduate students, you know, they're for the most part mixed, yeah? I've seen some other pictures from their actual like conferences, and they just have an assortment of different, you know, mixes, and that's fine. That's not an issue at all. Let me see. Don't they have a gallery? They have like Zoom calls, I guess. Like here, I'll show y'all this. So they have like these. They're very active. So you see a whole different types of people, light skin, dark skin. You know, all different kinds of mixes. So you would think an association dedicated to studying mixed race people and their issues would not be talking about how subservient they are to some other group of people. Okay? When you're... now I lost the page. Where'd the page go? When you're literally saying something like, we must recognize our long-standing role in perpetuating anti-Blkness, nah, you're not about mixed race people. Okay? Because I guarantee you, if I were to go to some like pro-black organization, they don't give a damn about us. They're not going to say anything about us as Lattos, about any kind of mixed race people. They're not going to be like, you know, we need to help the Blasian community. They're not doing that. Okay? So why are we doing that? That's absurd. Let me read the chats real quick. Cartoon Clip says, OBS, dark-skinned people are the ones perpetuating colorism. Yeah. Duty, more than just America operate off one drop rule. It's like global silent one drop they call black. Yeah, it's in Brazil now, the one drop rule. NativeSunGod says they are going on historical patterns. This movement on TikTok is a prime example. They are real, respectful, mixed-race people. Yeah, so your idea of respectful is how much do you bow and prostrate to black people? Do you bend at the hips, or do you get on your knees and then just kiss their feet? That's respectful. Yeah, okay. Okay. Iberian says TikTok is soft. Yeah, very soft. I don't get this. I don't think I would have this problem on other streaming platforms like YouTube or something. NativeSunGod, mixed is part black. Yes, we are aware of that. It is not black. Mvlato Angelou, they think we owe them that because of the history of colorism. Yeah, guess what? I'm not in history. I'm a person living today. I'm not responsible for what other groups of people did in the past. All right. Also, I will reiterate, I'm not black. So the black community's problems are not my responsibility. They are not going to make themselves responsible for our problems. Okay. And I don't expect them to either. I don't want them to. They've got their own issues. They can handle it. And we're going to handle our own issues as well. Okay. Let me continue reading. We acknowledge that the history of mixed race, multiracial identity has been inherently tied to white supremacy and anti-Blkness. Wow. Again, further just hating on themselves. What's that one freaking thing? It's like a whip or something where you just throw it behind your back and it whips your back. That's what they're doing. They're like that one guy from the Da Vinci Code. There was like that one guy in the Da Vinci Code that was like, you know, unaliving everybody. And like in the movie, you see him just like committing self-harm, let's say. And that's what these people are doing. They say, we acknowledge that the history of mixed race, multiracial identity has been inherently tied to white supremacy and anti-blackness. You're a bad person if you identify as mixed. That's what they're saying. If you're mixed, you're inherently a bad person. Self-flagellation. Thank you, Moon and Stars. Yes, that's what it is. Let's see. NativeSunGod says this isn't a power struggle. Then why are they always trying to have power over us? They're constantly trying to have power over us. It is absolutely a power struggle. Now, I don't want any kind of political power, but they very clearly want political power, and they want us to be subservient to them. They want to re-implement a caste system. They want to implement a caste system where blacks are at the top and mixed race people are at the bottom. That's exactly what they want. They accuse us of doing that, but we literally have no desire to do that because they're projecting. They're projecting. LMAO, if you're not white tea, you're included in black. No, you just made that up. You just made that up. No, the world isn't binary. I don't have to, if I'm not white tea and I'm not black, I'm Latto. That's what I am. That's exactly what I am. I want nothing to do with those other two communities. They got their own things, all right? Mvlato Premium responding to NativeSunGod, nobody cares, you pretendian. Mvlatta Angelou says, they want us to feel shame for being biracial. Exactly. NativeSunGod caste system, huh? Oh yeah, definitely. They want a caste system. They want to be above everybody else. They're not opposed to hierarchies. They're not opposed to authoritarianism or caste systems. They want all those things. They just want to be at the top. That's what it is. They want to maintain a racial hierarchy with black people at the top. That's all this is. That's all this is. Mvlato Angelou says they don't want to dismantle white supremacy. They just want to be at the top. Yes, they want to implement black supremacy. That's what it is. That's all this is. Make everybody feel like they should be ashamed and that they're bad people and that the only way they can repent is submitting to black people. That's all it is. So let me keep going. That our mixed identities are politicized and manipulated in ways to benefit whites and create further divisions between our communities of color. That those of us with white heritage and light skin have a legacy of exploiting white privilege, that we all have internalized racism and have been complicit in anti-blackness. Now, if you had told me like Al Sharpton wrote this, I'd believe you. I would believe you. But apparently we're not reading Al Sharpton's Substack. What we're reading, I will remind you, Critical Mixed Race Studies Association. This is a university association dedicated to studying mixed race people. And so far what we're seeing is they hate mixed race people. They literally said we're inherently bad people and that being mixed, we're perpetuating anti-blackness. Okay, you're a hate group. That's what I'm getting from this. Critical Mixed Race Studies Association is a hate group. That's what it is. Okay, let me jump down to another section. This is there's a part where they say that they've actually donated to BLM. Like, let me show y'all this. Here we donated $1,000 on behalf. So they donated to all these BLM organizations. Okay, here's the funny part. Here's the funny part. You know how in like religions, you know, if you sin, there's some way for you to repent. You either like pray and ask for forgiveness, or you do like Hail Marys or something. I don't know about, Islam or some other religions, we're arriving at that portion of this article. It's the, what can you do? And we've got this list of things that we can do as mixed race people to kiss black people's ass. I mean, to repent and fight anti-blackness. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Okay. All right. Let me read the chats real quick. Mvlatta Angelou, what organization is this? It's called the Critical Mixed Race Studies Association. They're, I believe they're associated with DePaul University. They have a pretty decent sized, actually not really. They only have like 1,000 followers on Instagram. But they're a good sized organization. They do a lot of organizing. They have biannual events, like mixed race events. I think it's specifically a conference. They've been around since 2010 when they were founded. I think they're officially a nonprofit now. But it's I came across them thinking like, oh wow, this is something for me. But no, it's not. Not at all. It's not for us. Where am I in the chats? Cartoon Clip says, your actions say it all. You wouldn't care about mixed people if you weren't. Oh, you're responding to NativeSunGod. Hernan Cortez says, Rosa Parks, Booker T. Washington, and Malcolm X were all mixed, and they used them as the face of blacks. Yeah. Mixed race people sure have done a lot for them. NativeSunGod, responding to Cartoon Clips, I care when real black people are in the topic. Y'all should be mad at your parents, not us. That's another thing that a lot of black and pro-black people do is they try to divide you from your family. Can you think of something any more disgusting than that? Than someone that wants to divide you from your own family? Like, I have a great relationship with both of my parents. Why would you want to destroy that? Think about the kind of person you have to be where to achieve your goal, you have to divide people from their parents. Who the hell does that? Who the hell does that? And that's not just the strategy of NativeSunGod. That's the strategy of a lot of these pro-blacks. That's their strategy. Even if you have a good relationship with your parent, they're going to try to separate you from your parents. Okay? Blackness destroys families. That's what it does. Cartoon Clips responding to Hernan Cortez, they don't have many real black people to look up to, so they have to include mixed. True. Mvlato Angelo says, my parents are one of y'all, so who is us? NativeSunGod says, exactly my point. Your identity crisis is not our issue. Okay. Black people are Egyptians. They're the Native Americans. They're freaking Cleopatra, the Romans. They're freaking samurais and Japanese, but we have an identity crisis. Okay. Black people want to be anything but themselves. But we got an identity crisis. Okay. Oh, man. So we're at the section where they tell us how we can repent, how we can be obedient biracials, and what we need to do to not help ourselves, but help black people. Here we go. Make sure your investment in mixed race multiraciality includes remedying anti-blackness. Yes, you heard it. If you're going to have this identity, you now have to be responsible for remedying the problems of some other group of people that are not your own. That's what they're saying. Again, no other group does this. No other group is like, oh man, we need to take the burdens of this other group of people in addition to fighting all the problems that we have. No other group does this. Next one, do not remain silent. Speak up when you see and hear anti-Black sentiment in your family, your communities, and workplace. Now, above all means, if you are seeing racism against any group of people, it would be a good idea to speak up and not tolerate that. Yeah? It really would. But they're not specifically asking you to do this for like racism in general. They specifically anti-Black sentiment. I'm not sure anywhere on this page, or maybe not even on this website, I will hear them say that we need to speak up against anti-Latto sentiment, anti-mixed sentiment. Like, are we going to see that? Why is this page so prominent? Next, they say, without putting the labor on Black identified folks, and they spell folks with an X. Man, these people are weird. Without putting the labor on Black identified folks, study the history of anti-Blackness and how it continues to be ingrained and institutionalized in every aspect of society by actively, continuously self-educating. Draw from Black scholarship and perspectives. So again, invest more in some other group. I now have to learn about the history of anti-Blackness, okay? All right. Next, let's see. That's kind of the same thing. Blah, blah, blah. Where was the real egregious ones? Oh, okay, here's another one. If you can donate to Black organized movements and organizations and support Black-owned businesses, look into locally and nationally based organizations. Again, why? They don't even say like patronize these businesses. They're saying donate. I guess donate to Black organized movements and organizations. Why? This is an organization dedicated to mixed race people telling you to donate to some other organization dedicated to some other group of people. I don't think they hear themselves. What are you doing? Next one, in mixed race, multiracial events and organizing, create space for Black identified voices and foreground the message that Black Lives Matter in the structure of your program. Okay, so if we were to ever have an event, actually, you know what? We're kind of having an event right now. So basically, they're saying in this space, on my live, I have to create a space for Black identified voices. Okay, what? Where in a Black space can I go and say, hey, I need space for me as a Latto. I need to be able to have my voice here. They're not gonna do it. They're gonna call you mutt. They're gonna call you mule. They're gonna call you mongrel. All kinds of things. But I gotta make a space for them. These people that don't even like me. Come on, man. Let me get to the chats. Let's see. Oh man, there's quite a bit now. I'm gonna skip that one dude. They're putting Black people in history movies that never involved Black people at all. Yeah, they do that. They like Black people were not involved in a lot of these historical events, but they'll just like randomly throw them in there. Sometimes as like, you know, supporting characters, sometimes just as like an extra in the background, unnecessarily. Like if I'm watching like a freaking World War II movie about like Stalingrad when the Germans invaded Russia, what the hell am I gonna do seeing like, I don't know, some LeBron James looking dude freaking in the background? Like that's not gonna be a thing. And a lot of times what they'll do in movies is they'll start with the premise that they want to have a Black person in the movie. So they'll find the most obscure like resource to justify putting a Black person, you know? So they'll on this one page in this one person's diary, he mentioned a dark person. All right, that's our justification to put a black person in this movie. Like, come on. Okay. They ignore people like Juan Garrido, an African who fought alongside Hernan Cortés in Tenochtitlan. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Hater in the chat. Afro-Indigenous, man. Okay. Yeah, it's not enough to simply have mixed people. It's if I went to a black space and I'm like, hello there, my fellow human beings. I'm a Mvlato. You know what's gonna happen. You know exactly what's gonna happen. Because I did that once. I went to a space. I think it was a mix of like black and like other mixed race people. I literally had people making donkey noises. Like I would say something, actually, I disagree with that point. I believe X, Y, and Z. And the response I get was literal donkey noises, man. But you're telling me like I'm welcome there. Okay, no, you people don't like us. You utilize us, you tolerate us, so long as we are subservient to you. That's all it is. Okay, I'm gonna find this last thing. Where was it? There was one last thing I wanted to mention here. I think I may have already mentioned it. Let me find it. I can't remember where it was on this page. Oh, I think that was it. That's all the main stuff. Yeah. Hold yourself and others accountable to redress anti-Blkness. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. They I don't know. This is a hate group. That's all I'm going to say. This is a hate group. They don't like us. They hate us, especially the people like us here who actually have an identity and want to assert it and want to have spaces and communities. They would hate us. If any of us showed up to these conventions, we'd be thrown the hell out. Okay, let me finish up with the chats. Let's see. NativeSunGod says race is how you present phenotype presents. No, that's an archaic way of viewing at race. That's how white supremacists view race. But I mean, if you want to go along with that, that's fine. Also, you're using the word phenotype incorrectly. Let's see. Duty asks NativeSunGod, you're 55% African, you're mixed too. Why are you fighting your own? He hates us. That's what it is. He belongs to a hateful ideology, and I want y'all to see what he says. So NativeSunGod, keep typing, keep telling us what you believe. This is what hate looks like, everybody. Okay? He belongs to a hate group, and we're the subject of that, or sorry, we're the object of that hate. Yeah? That's what it is. Mvlato Genesis comes with a good point. Society used to view black people as 3/5 of a human. Should we look at ourselves as that too? Yeah, exactly. We should submit to what society says. Society says this, but yeah, there was a time when society viewed black people as a lot of negative things. Yeah. And according to his logic, You have to just go along with what society says. So at that time period, the people who thought all those negative things about black people, that society, they were correct. He thinks they were correct. Moon and Stars says they had a black lady play Anne Boleyn. Oh yeah, I remember that. King Henry VIII's second wife. Yeah, I remember that. I never saw that because why would I? But I did see like the articles about it. Mvlatta Angela says your phenotypes are a mix of two different phenotypes. Yeah, we're a mix. Yeah. Genetically, morphologically, like we're a mixture of the two. But if you're not comfortable with that, then you will try to identify with only one side. That's the true identity crisis. When you try to only associate with one side, when you try to only identify with one side. You know, even in the circumstance where you grew up with only one side, like, what are you just going to do? Ignore that the whole other part of your genetics? You know, that whole other culture that you are entitled to? Nah. Let's see. Let me find any comments. Y'all are going at it. Let's see. This man is mixed and in denial. Oh yeah. Very tragic. Very tragic. He's a good example of how we should not be. Like, I hope you know, NativeSunGod, like they still hate you. They still hate you. We're at 6.1K likes. Let's get it up. Let's get more likes up. Let's see. But America is, NativeSunGod says, but America is constructed under that race idea. I'm operating in it. Why aren't you trying to change it? You just admitted that view of race is based on white supremacy, but instead of trying to change it, you are trying to perpetuate it. Why? Because you know that black people get power from that view, that racial worldview. That's their source of power. Okay? So you are completely fine in perpetuating YT supremacy as long as black people benefit from it. I hope you're happy with yourself. Okay? There's a lot of things that America is operating under, a lot of ideologies, but you wouldn't say, oh, we should just keep it and just keep it going, yeah? You believe in the BS idea of systemic racism, but you're trying to change it, aren't you? Because you don't like that. So I have to believe that if you're not wanting to change this white supremacist view of race, that you like it. That's what it is. You freaking love YT supremacy. Cartoon Clips makes a similar point. Should the Jays have operated to the Yahtzee standards? Exactly. According to you, hey, society viewed the Jays a certain way. Okay? Germany was operating under a certain way, so the Jays, they should have just sat there and took it. They should have begged to go. I'm not going to go any further. TikTok is too sensitive. You don't have a choice in America? Really, NativeSunGod? You think you don't have a choice? Okay. Society can't be changed, apparently. We are powerless to change society and to change the views of people. You don't believe that. You don't believe that for 1 second. Duty says, "Hey, black passing mixed guy, you are still mixed. Remember that." I don't even think he's black presenting. He's not. Again, unless he's hanging around racist. Like, yes, a racist person is all they need to see is like a single African trait, and they're gonna be like, "Dang old black." Okay, and so he's perpetuating that idea. He loves it. He loves white supremacy. Oh man. Cartoon Clips responding to him says, "You feel you don't have a choice because you're fed into the learned helplessness." I don't. He just likes white supremacy. That's all it is. Duty responding to him says, "Why do you have that high level of admixture? That's not a simple mistake, like at all." Nate says, "If you think that genetics are equally split 50-50, that says a lot about you." Yeah, genetics very rarely works in those like easy percentages. Hernan Cortez says they want biracial men to be their race soldiers, and I think your comment got cut off, but yes, you're right. They tolerate us. They don't accept us. For the record, they do not accept us. They merely tolerate us because they view us as useful pawns in their little race wars and their quest for political power. That's all this is. Mvlatta Angelo says perpetuating it is less uncomfortable than actively dismantling it. It's easier to play the victim. Yeah. That's, like I said, that's a source of power for them. NativeSunGod says if black people progress, then everyone will progress. Why doesn't that work with any other group? Why aren't you saying if white people progress, then everybody will progress? Yeah? I need to repurpose trickle down economics and I'm going to call this trickle down justice. If we only concentrate on justice for black people, then everybody will do fine. Trickle down justice. Okay. Okay, keep believing that, NativeSunGod. You wouldn't believe that for any other group of people. Let's see, where am I? Hernan Cortez says, I worked with biracials and they had to take shit all day from black customers. Oh yeah. I was fortunate. I didn't have to grow up around black people that hated me. But I do know a lot of mixed people that did, and it's a battle, especially if you're a dude. If you're a dude, it's a battle. I think girls sometimes get heat too, but it's, I think it's less physical. I don't know. But I definitely hear of a lot of violence that mixed guys have to go through growing up around black people. Let's see. NativeSunGod says the progression from black people has led for progression of biracial. No. This is just trickle down justice. This is the same thing with like feminism. Like they say, oh, if women exceed, then men exceed too. If we dismantle the patriarchy, then everybody will benefit. No, that's very clear manipulation. If you just do what I want, if you fight my battles for me, then everybody will benefit with no demonstration of how this will be. Yeah, we're just supposed to accept it at face value. And then go fight your battles for you. This is similar to how like governments work. Like, whenever you have like two countries going to war, it's not really the countries going to war. It's not really the people, like the citizens going to war. What really is at the heart of like war and conflict like that is the elites in one country have a beef with the elites in another country. And what those elites do is they convince the citizens that the problems of the elites are also their problems as well. So go fight these other people for me. The elites will never go at it. They'll just recruit the citizens and propagandize them, try to convince them that this other group of people are the bad guys, and then they send us to go fight their wars. And that's essentially what he's trying to do with like black people. He views black people as the elites. He doesn't think they should be obligated to fight their own battles. We should do that for them because their struggles are our struggles. Not at all, boy. Not at all. Nate says the way he describes black people, you would have thought he was talking about the Jays. Yeah. Cartoon Clip says biracial people facing discrimination is not the same as experiencing anti-blackness. Yeah. I had a live about this a while back. We do not face anti-blackness. Because in order to experience anti-blackness, we would need to be black, but we are not black. Okay? We are Lattos. We experience Actually, the Spanish word would be mulates. Anti-mulates. So black people have blackness, white people have whiteness, and mulattoes have mulates. So it's anti-mulates that we experience. It's not anti-blackness. We're not black, okay? I don't care if it's the person is specifically saying, oh, I hate you because of your African features. Or I hate you because of your curly hair, all this stuff. That's still not anti-blackness because I am not black. I am a mulatto. So it is, why would you name hatred against me and my people after some other group of people? Okay? You wouldn't call hatred against black people anti-Asian hate, would you? No. Okay? Why would you? Why would you name it some other group? No. We are mulattos, so we experience anti-mulates. That is anti-mulatto hatred. Don't come at me with this anti-blackness stuff. Okay. Let's see, where was I? But NativeSunGod says, but the discrimination is still based on your black admixture. But I am a single individual. I am a single individual with a single identity. I am not just a collection of parts mashed together, okay? So you can't hate half of me. You hate all of me. If there's a part of me that you hate, then that's hating all of me. Yeah? And I'm not going to name hatred that I experience after some other group of people. No. The hatred that we experience as a group is hatred against us. It's not some other group of people. This is the manipulative tactics that they like to use to get you to now go fight their battles. Because if we say that we experience anti-blackness, well then now it would follow that we have some responsibility to fight anti-blackness. No, we don't. I am only responsible for fighting discrimination and hatred against me and my people, not some other group of people. Go get one of those like guilty white people to go fight your battles for you. Go do that. We're not doing that shit here. Hey, Dose of Reality, thank you for being here. He says, base take, enjoying this. Dude, I love it. I'm loving it too. Mvlatta Angelou says, we can experience anti-blackness for having black features. No, we don't. No. If we experience anti-blackness, now we are responsible for anti-blackness as well, for having some part in it. You have to understand the framing. Okay, we are not black, therefore we cannot experience anti-blackness. It's just not the case. We are mulattos. That's what we experience. Anti-mulatto hate, anti-mulates. Let's see. Cartoon Clip says, it's based on being POC, but the closest thing they can insult you is you're African. Let's see. Yeah, Mulatto Genesis, I agree. We aren't black, so it makes no sense. It just literally makes zero sense. Whereas we have a singular identity. We are single individuals. No. Nate says mulatto is not a real race. It is not seen as a race by any large-scale society. That doesn't follow. Societies don't decide race. So it's a race because I say it is. How about that? Yeah? Literally, that's how other races, at least the labels, were created. People just said white was a race. People just said black was a race. But now mulatto can't be a race. Oh. No, that's not how it works. It's a race because I say it is. Mvlatta Angela says we are half black and can be discriminated for that. But we're not experiencing half discrimination. When someone discriminates us, they discriminate against us as a whole person. Because you have to view yourself as a whole individual. There's not like you know what? I'm gonna do some drawing for y'all. I'm gonna bust out the freaking like Sharpies and markers, man. How do I freaking do this? I have a black marker and a white marker. I thought I had some other markers. What does this look like? Okay, I think I can make this work. Hold on. I'm gonna just okay, here we go. Okay, so for those of y'all that think, okay, we're half black, therefore we can experience anti-blackness, this is how y'all view yourselves. I'm gonna do it like this. This is how y'all view yourselves. That is incorrect. There's not a line going down any part of your body and this is the black side, that's the white side. That's not how this works. Okay, this is not a mixture of two things. This is a circle that is literally half black and half white. This is what being half black and half white looks like. This is not a mixture. We, on the other hand, are a mixture. We're fucking gray, okay? That's what this is, okay? Tell me where's the black side. Tell me where's the white side. You can't find it because we are a mixture. We're not just a freaking haphazard amalgamation of black and white parts. We are a single individual with a single identity. And when someone hates us, they hate the whole individual, okay? We're not gonna experience some half hatred. Okay, we're gonna experience full hatred. You go out there and you come across some racist, you're gonna experience some full ass hatred, not some half shit. Oh, well, you're half black, so I'm gonna give you 50% of my hate. Okay, I got a 10 round magazine, so I'm gonna give you 5. Like, no, that's not how it works. We are mixed race, not just black and white parts thrown together. Okay, Cartoon Clip says, it's not like they can insult you for being half white. Mvlato Premium says, we don't have black features, it's a mix of both. Yeah, I agree. And I think that's a thing that a lot of mixed people don't fully understand. That's why a lot of the times I sometimes don't even like saying I'm half this and half that. You know, you have to realize the language you use and what it implies, how that shapes how you view yourself and the world. You know, we're a mix of the two things. And there's a difference between things being mixed, okay? I showed y'all in the drawing, there was literally one thing that was not mixed. It was black and white, like literally black and white. You could see here's the black part and here's the white part. And then I showed you what a mixture was like. It was gray. Mvlatta Angela says, I have definitely experienced racism, so I don't know. Yeah, I have too, but I am not black. So I didn't experience anti-blackness. I experienced anti-mulates, anti-mulatto hate. That's what I experienced. That's what you experienced too. It doesn't matter what the actual person, like, how they phrased the insult or what they did. You are a mulatta and they hated you. Okay, you are not black. Mulatto Genesis with a great point from both YT and black people. So that's the point. They are anti-mulatto. Yes, exactly. Because we get hate from both sides. Mvlatta Angela, we can acknowledge that as mulatto people that anti-blackness affects us. No, it does not. No, it does not. Anti-blackness is black people's problems. Okay, we got our own problems. We face hate from a different angle. Okay, it's a different type of hate. Where are we? Mvlatta Angelo, anti-blackness affects half of us. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Absolutely not. The Katrina Nicole show says, no one is black. Black is a color. Okay, I'll believe that when people in America stop checking black on the census. How about y'all stop doing that? And then I'll believe you. Then I'll believe you. Nate says, race is a social construct. No, it is not. And you don't believe it's a social construct. Because if you did, then I could change my race. Tomorrow, you know what? I want to be freaking Pacific Islander, man. I now have rights to freaking Hawaii. I want to be a native Hawaiian. How about that? You don't believe that. You treat race as a biological reality. That's what you do. Mvlato Genesis says, exactly, mulaton. Nate says, it's a race because it's a social construct. NativeSunGod says, do all mixed people have one look? No, they don't. Let's see. If you're saying a color, then it's brown. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Yes, it's biological. Let's see. The Katrina Nicole shows everyone comes from brown until they become diluted. Recessive. Oh, okay. You're a supremacist. That's what you are. I see. You don't realize that every group of people have recessive genes. That like black people have recessive genes too. I hope you knew that. Like black people literally can get albinism, which is the product of a recessive gene. It's literally two recessive alleles at a specific locus on the chromosome. But you don't. Why am I trying to explain science to you? You don't care about science. Mvlatta Angelo says no mulaton. You know what, Mvlatta Angelo? I will convince you. One of these days, I will convince you. You'll come around. You'll come around, Mvlatta Angelo. Let's see. We got some pretendians apparently in the chat. Mvlatta Angela says, but they hate us because they perceive us as black. No, and I'm surprised you're saying that. They don't perceive us. They don't perceive us the same as black people. Like I'm assuming when you say perceive, you mean like visually perceive someone. They see the difference. Now in their head, they equate the two. They say, I see this person who clearly has lighter skin. In the case of Lattos, we have lighter skin, looser curls, different facial features. And then they see like freaking Shaq over here. They see the difference. They know the difference. But in America, we've all been conditioned to just treat those as two equal entities when they're not. So they don't perceive us the same. They perceive us as differently, but they are taught to equate the two. So no. And no, it's not anti-blackness. No. NativeSunGods, do you understand we can trace haplogroups? Dude, I don't even think you know what haplogroups are. You used phenotypes. You used the word phenotype when you meant morphology. Like you don't know science. Don't pretend to know freaking science, man. By the way, just so everybody knows, your external physical appearance, that's not phenotype, okay? When you're talking about things like your nose shape, your hair texture, these are morphologies. These are not phenotypes. And the whole collective physical appearance, that's not phenotype. That's again morphology. Okay. NativeSunGod says not all mixed people look the same. Oh wow. Elementary school stuff. Thank you. You're educating no one, man. Hernan Cortez says, I met a mulatta who told me a Bantu she had rejected followed her home. Yeah, they don't like when you reject them. They will, Mvlatta Angela says they will choose to discriminate based on our not white features. In some cases they hate your white parent too, because of what your white parent did. But yeah. They don't care if you're half white. They still see you as black and as an impurity. Okay, so I think I thought I saw someone try to request up. I don't see anybody anymore trying to request up. Okay. Let's see. Mvlatta Angelou, I'm not even saying I'm black. I'm just saying people have directed anti-blackness towards me. That's saying you're black. If you say I experience anti-blackness, you are saying you're black. I don't know how you don't understand that. That's literally what you're saying. Y'all still don't pass the YT purity test. Dude, you're the person that cares more about YT people than we do. Literally, we don't care. Almost in every circumstance, whenever I'm talking about being mixed race, it's always one of these pro-blats that want to like talk about white people. Y'all always bring them up first, man. Okay, let's bring up, I think we got a hater coming up. Let's see how this goes.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, what's on your mind?
What you said about anti-blackness. Yes, mixed people can face blackness because hold on 1 second.
You gonna get it out?
Yeah, I am gonna get it out.
Okay.
Mixed people can face anti-blackness because of their African features. And yes, sometimes, not all of their features are African, but some of them, yeah. You can still face racism and anti-blackness even if you are mixed race.
No, you can't. If I'm
Yes.
how can I, if I'm not black, how can I experience racism directed at another group of people?
Because you're half black. That is a part of you. So they hate part of you. They hate part of your racial identity and they hate you whole.
Okay. Real quick, I want to respond to NativeSunGod. Morphology refers to linguistics, smart guy. This is how I know you don't know what morphology is. You just looked it up. You typed it into Google and you saw the first Wikipedia entry. Type morphology in biology. Do that, okay? Ask ChatGPT about that. Okay. So, I wasn't even paying attention. Something about I'm half black and they hate me because of that half black stuff. But I'm not half a person. I'm a whole person. So there's no hating half of me.
It's not about the person, it's about the race though. You're confusing race and identity. Now you can have a racial identity, yeah, but race and identity are two different things.
So they hate how I identify, or they hate my race? What are you getting at?
They hate your race. They hate part of your race.
Okay.
I have a bit of a personal question. Is your mother white by any chance?
Well, I mean, I grew up listening to like punk rock, and deathcore. So, I mean, what do you think? Give a wild guess.
Yeah, I expected as much. See, you tragic mulattoes need to unravel your internalized racism.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so tragic. I'm not kissing black people's ass. Okay.
It's not about kissing their ass. It's about understanding that their problems affect you too. Even though you try to distance yourself from black people, and even come up with a new slur calling them Bantus, this, that, or whatever. That's just promoting white supremacy.
Bantu is not a slur. The overwhelming majority of black people in America descend from Bantu-speaking peoples, so it's not a slur.
It's an insult.
How is it an insult?
Matter.
How is it an insult?
Because you use it in an insulting manner.
No, I do not. They literally descend from Bantu-speaking people, so whenever I use the word Bantu, I'm using it to distinguish from them and us mixed race people, because the word black is very ambiguous. It means different things to different people. But when I say Bantu, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what the Bantu-speaking peoples are like.
See, now you're trying to turn it as if it's something good.
And it's neutral. It's a description of reality. They descend from the Bantu-speaking peoples of Africa. No, it is not. It is not an insult.
Yes, it is.
No, you want it to be an insult.
You
want it to be an insult because I think a lot of black people are ashamed of their African ancestry. They don't like being reminded that they are of Bantu descent.
Some African Americans, yes, but other people of African descent, like Caribbeans, and other mixed race people who don't identify as mulatto.
What? I'm still. You're just asserting that it's an insult without any kind of real justification. It's not an insult. You're just implying. You're just assuming a negative motive behind when I say Bantu. When I say Bantu, I'm literally referring to the people in America who descend from the Bantu-speaking peoples of Africa.
You do realize that that's not the only tribe in Africa, right?
I did not say it was the only tribe.
But that's the only one you know about.
No, it is not. But you do admit that black Americans descend from Bantu-speaking peoples.
Yes, but not all.
Okay, well, you know what? A better word would be Niger Congo. Would you prefer I call them Niger Congos instead?
Niger Congo? You have very limited knowledge about the continent of Africa.
Do you know what Niger Congo refers to?
Yes, the countries.
No, it does not. Apparently I'm an idiot, but this guy right here that I'm talking to doesn't know Niger Congo refers to a family of languages. Pretty much all the majority of the family of languages within sub-Saharan Africa, excluding the Khoisan click languages. Niger Congo refers to the languages spoken in West Africa, Central Africa, and Southern Africa as well. So if you want to get super technical, calling them Niger Congos would be a little more accurate, but I think Bantu is fine.
Because you want to imply a caste system.
It's pronounced caste, and no, I don't.
A caste system. I mean, you're still emitting like the agenda of a caste system.
What? How is me wanting to have my own identity trying to implement a caste system?
I'm not saying that having your own identity is a bad thing, but when you look down and make negative rants about black people and hating your own blackness from within is when I have a problem.
Well, I don't have blackness.
Because you are teaching these
and
confused mixed
how
children.
am I looking down? How am I looking down? I'm literally talking about people who attack me, but that's me looking down at all black people?
Yes. Because they say, oh, you want them to fight your battles for you. They want to use you. This, that, and the third. They don't.
That's exactly what they want.
We don't. No, they don't.
Yeah.
Maybe because you didn't get accepted by black people, you think that you can apply that to all mixed race people. Acting like black people are some sort of hive mind that, completely, totally, unanimously agree that mixed people are not black, this, that, and the third.
Well, I didn't grow up around black people, so not being accepted by them was never really a thing for me. And second, literally all my videos are full of black people just shitting on me for simply wanting to have my own identity. So yeah. Whenever I personally don't believe all black people are like that. I'm not like that. I know I treat people as individuals, but whenever I say black people in this context, you almost always hear me saying these black people have done X to us, and it's literally things that they have done to us. They've attacked us. They deliberately don't want us to have our own identity.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
No, you can go ahead.
No, it's fine. You can go first.
Okay. Well, if you've got nothing else to say, thank you for coming up. I'll I'll catch you next time. Oh man. No, NativeSunGod, I'm not using Bantu as a lower caste. Like you're just making stuff up, but I see you're requesting, so I'll bring you up. Let's see. Oh, we got Mvlato Angelou wanting to come up too. Okay, hey, what's up?
Yeah, so I mean, I was in here for a little bit. So I guess I want to start off with the article that you read. And I think part of the problem is what you're taking from the article, because that was a big portion of your earlier live. From what I heard, what you were reading, they were simply describing how some people who are mixed race use their proximity to uphold white supremacy. And I think a primary example of what they said would be the movement here on TikTok with mulattoes saying that certain characteristics are characteristics of simply Black people. So it's rhetoric that goes along with it. So I do think this live and other conversations have specifically been a prime example of what that article was trying to point out. And I think my second question is, I'm still trying to understand what exactly are you guys trying to advocate for? Because if we understand that not all mixed race people have one phenotype, then we have to understand that some would just be categorized as Black. So what you're advocating for is just a certain look of what mixed race people look like, not for actual mixed race people. Correct?
Well,
Incorrect.
Yeah, incorrect. I've always stated that my goal here was to create a community specifically for mulattos. And if you're talking about like mixed race people in general, yeah, I know that there are different types of mixes and there are different, that there are going to be different physical appearances. But even in the case that you mentioned, where maybe you have someone, let's take Douglas for example. Douglas are typically part African and part like Asian Indian, and for the most part, they're kind of dark. And you know, at first glance, someone might just assume that that's like a Black person, but upon further inspection, you're going to see, oh, they're like kind of mixed with something. But I still, in that case, wouldn't say that, oh, Douglas should just throw their hands up, submit to a racist worldview, and just say, I'm Black. No, you're Douglas. You have a unique experience, a unique identity, and you should embrace that.
But are there some mixed race people who also present monoracially Black?
I'm not that I'm aware of. You'd have to give me an example.
Okay, so someone like Tyra Banks, both her parents are Black, but she presents somewhat, she can be perceived as mixed race. So if someone in this community is facing anti-Blackness on how they present, would that not be also a mulatto fight?
Are you talking about for like, okay, so a mulatto that presents, you're saying, as Black?
Yes, say for instance, someone there, so if in this hypothetical scenario, if we had a bunch of people who were, I guess, mulatto in this mulatto community and they were applying for jobs, or say they got kicked out of a store and they were called the N-word or stuff like that, and if they came back to you and said they called these names, would that not be anti-Black rhetoric?
Okay, well, I want to first establish that mulattoes don't present as Black. But let's put that aside and say, in either way, in this case, someone is referring to them as the N-word and all that junk. We're still not Black. Therefore, any kind of racism that we experience is not anti-Blackness. This person is using, yes, a racial slur that is intended to be used upon Black people, but it is racist in and of itself to just assume that we are Black, to just call us Black. And that is something that we suffer uniquely. So it is not anti-Blackness.
But wouldn't it still be anti-Blackness because the reason why they're saying that to us is because they recognize that we have African ancestry?
No, it's not. That's not anti-Blackness because we are not Black.
But it's like we're still part Black. I understand that I'm a whole person, but they're looking at me and perceiving me as being someone of African descent and then choosing to discriminate against me because of that. So that is anti-Blackness.
No, I don't think so because we just are not Black, and you can't just, I'm going to hate part of you. No, I'm a whole person. You can't just hate part of me. Okay, because the implication would be, okay, you can like part of me. So like, I'll hang out with you on Saturdays, half the week, because I like part of you, but I also hate part of you. So I'm not going to hang out with you these other days. That's when I'm going to experience hatred of you. No, they're going to hate you regardless. So
but they're hating us wholly as a person, but because we are part Black, like they're hating us wholly as a person because we're of African descent. It's not like they're only hating half of us. They're hating all of us because we're of African descent.
No, I still disagree with even calling it anti-Blackness. Like I said, in no other circumstance can I think of where Group 1 experiences racism, but that racism is now called or named after Group 2. We are two different groups of people, but you're going to say the racism that we experience is now named after Group 2, Black people? No, we don't do that with any other group of people.
I understand that, yeah.
Like I said, you're not gonna. If someone comes up to you like Shaquille O'Neal and says you N-word, we're not gonna call that anti-Asian hate or anything like that. Okay.
Can I say something else, Mvlato?
Yeah, jump in.
Good day. Thank you for having me, bro. It's definitely anti-mixed race because from a lot of these white racist people, they always say, "Stop mixing, please don't mix snow with dirt." I have seen some white racist people in real life. They address you as a mixed race person. Yes, it's the African in you, but they hate the fact that you're also half white. They are not discriminating on you just because you are of African descent. They are discriminating you because they call you mud. That is a slur for mixed race people. So your type of discrimination is not anti-Blackness. It's basically a different type of racism that's directed to mixed race people.
So I don't know how it operates in your country, but typically, especially here in America, when people are facing discrimination, especially based off of their race or how they present, if they are Black or if they are white or Black and whatever, they're facing that discrimination because they have that admixture specifically of Black. They're not facing discrimination because of the white admixture. It's because of your Black or African admixture that you're facing discrimination. So it's still anti-Black.
I understand NativeSunGod, but the reason why I say this is because I have seen a lot of white people from different parts of the world, from United States, and they hate the fact that people like Mvlatos, for example, are mixed race. And they always say, "Stop mixing snow with dirt. Please, this
exactly.
Exactly, but they do hate the fact that you're mixed with white. They do hate that fact.
No,
they acknowledge.
They do, because they hate that we have contaminated, quote unquote, their bloodline. They hate the fact that we're a part of them. So they do hate that.
Exactly. So inherently, that wouldn't be anti-Black. That's a specific type of racism directed to mixed race people.
No, because the hate is coming from the fact, like you said, don't mix snow with dirt. The hate is coming from you're adding the quote unquote Blackness, aka dirt, onto whiteness. It's because of the Black side.
But they are acknowledging the fact that you're half white, and they hate the fact that you're half white. Though you need to understand that maybe I am not whatever from America, but the host is also a mixed race person. He was born and raised in America. He's telling you this. I personally, I didn't grow up there, but I had experience with people from the place where I'm from who are white, and in this country you have also white people like Anglo-Saxons, and when you have a white racist person that discriminate you when you are mixed race is not only because you're African descent. Not only black people can suffer racism, bro. You have people who are Arabs that also get discriminated against. You have people that are Moroccan. Sometimes Moroccans can look like a black person, or they can also look mixed race, like a mulatto. You have people from different places. Even Chinese get discriminated again for different reasons. So if you see a mixed race person, because there's a lot of mixed race people, there are more on the other side, but you can still see that they are mixed and they also get it. Even though they are quote unquote white presenting, they still get the discrimination. So it's not anti-black, bro. It's just racism. They call mixed race people mods, bro. Like they don't call black people mods.
Do you know? Okay, so when President Obama was like running for office, or even while he was in office, the kind of hate that he was receiving, specifically from the conservative community, it was based around anti-black rhetoric. So even though he was a quote-unquote mulatto, 50-50, the kind of rhetoric that was placed on him, they were calling him, fried chicken person. They even brought nooses and like a hanging thing to one of his rallies early on in his presidency. So the thing that I'm saying is the very hardships that Obama faced in his presidency, or even during his campaign, was because he was the first black presenting presidential nominee. They hated the fact that a potential black person was going to be the president. It was his blackness.
This is what I'm confused about also, is like they're like recognizing our blackness first, and then they're being anti-black towards us. Like, I understand that I myself am not a black person and I don't walk through the world as a black person, but I've had that kind of hate or discrimination directed towards me. So
Mvlato, I'm going to let you to address this, because whatever I say, they're gonna say, "Oh no, you're not from America." So you go ahead, Mvlato.
No, I mean you can give me your perspective too. I'm not, I don't have your experience, so.
No, I understand, bro. I understand what you're saying, but it's not possible. Yes, I understand, because of your certain features, your hair texture, your parentage, etc. They can see the blackness in you, even in some of your aspects, the way you behave. If you grew up, let's say, in a majority black house, etc., they're gonna see those things, and they will discriminate you because of those facts too. But a lot of times they know you are mixed race and they see the white in you. And a lot of people who are racist and white, they hate the fact that you are white. They hate the fact that you are part white and part black. I'm talking about the racist persons. They hate the fact that you are part white and part black, and they don't like that shit. They just look at you and they say, this is a mod. It's a fucking abomination. And this has nothing to do with you being only of African descent. Yes, partially it has something to do. But you have to understand that a lot of times they have this resentment where they hate the fact that you're mixed with white. So it's a different type of discrimination. The way they discriminate towards a black person, who's a fully black person, and a person who's mixed race is totally different. And you also have the erasure. They use certain tactics to erase mixed race people identity, to make them feel, oh no, you have no place, you are not this and you are not that. You understand what I'm saying? So it's never the same. Maybe in some cases, a lot of people would get that because, they're gonna see a certain features like your hair, like a lot of things in you, they're gonna realize that first in certain cases, but it's not always like that. So we cannot say it's anti-blackness. It's just discrimination. And if you are not a black person, merely they're gonna see both things. They're gonna discriminate you because you're a mixed race person.
Also, I'll add in there, notice how this whole conversation, if someone calls us the N-word, that's anti-blackness. Now, let's say we were to go into a space of black people, and this does happen, and they see that we have some European features, and then they're going to hate on us because we have European ancestry. That'll be called anti-whiteness. So now every form of racism that we experience is now named after some other group of people. And I think it's pretty obvious that when you do this, you essentially deny our unique identity by saying the only racism you experience is anti-blackness, anti-whiteness. There's nothing that encompasses everything we are as a whole. And I think when you try to separate that, you also view mixed race people as being not a single whole individual, but as just two parts mashed together. And that's just not how it works. That's not how we're going to be able to move forward as a people, where we just name everything after our composite parts, the parts that made us, that mixed to have us. I
push back and say that if somebody comes up to me and calls me a mutt or gives me a derogatory remark based on the fact that I am mixed race specifically, that would be anti-mulatto. But if it's something that is specifically targeted at me being Black or me being white, that would be anti-Blackness or anti-whiteness, whatever the case may be. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, but let's say for example, I don't know what your hair texture is like, but let's assume it's like 3C or something like that. Okay, if some person saw your 3C hair and they're like, "Ooh, I hate you, you dangle like N-word with your 3C hair," like Black people don't really have 3C hair. For the overwhelming majority of Black people don't have 3C hair. That's a mulatto trait. Okay, and this is something that I think Mvlatta Premia mentioned, is that we don't really have Black features. We don't really have white features. We're a mixture of these two, and so we have our own unique features. And so whenever people see us, like I said before, they don't view us and say, you're the same as Shaq, you're the same as Viola Davis. No, they see the difference. They know that we're different. And only in their racist mind do they think that the two are equivalent. And so then they say, okay, you're the same as this thing that I hate, so now I'm going to hate you. And I agree with Jay's point when he was saying earlier, I forgot exactly what it was, Jay, but we can't go around just dividing ourselves up into parts and saying, oh, well, over here I experienced this is anti-Blackness, this is anti-whiteness. No, we have to view ourselves as a whole single individual.
But okay, so I think my issue is, so even within that last statement, do you see how it starts to tiptoe the line of like featureism and colorism, saying that, you know, a mulatto trait is 3C hair, or you don't typically see Black people with this X, Y, and Z? Like, aren't Ethiopians and Somalians Black people?
No, they are not. I have an Ethiopian friend.
They're not Black?
I have an Ethiopian friend on my DM. Let me send the invitation to the live. He do not class himself as Black person. Like the Ethiopians in their country, they do not call themselves Black. That's what I know from his mouth.
Well, I mean, African people don't really call themselves Black, but I can probably share it aloud with somebody I know. They might come over and they'll say that they consider themselves Black.
I mean, in America, that is an American caste system. So in America, yes, we will see them as Black. They will be perceived as Black, but they're not. They have like different ways of identifying themselves in their countries and in their culture.
But I want to get to your point though, that you're making about the featureism. It's not featureism to say that, like, on average, mulattoes tend to have X, Y, and Z features. Obviously, there's going to be some outliers. Some people who have like maybe more straighter hair. Some people who maybe have like 4B or 4C hair. Those cases are recognized. But there are features that we uniquely share. Just like every other group has certain features that make up who they are.
Mvlato.
Go ahead, Iberian.
Wouldn't the featureism just apply to East Africans and North Africans too?
What do you mean?
Since they're not in the same gene pool, like if they're categorized as full Black people, but they look drastically different, couldn't that apply to couldn't featureism apply to them too, by his logic?
Right, but what I'm saying is they're not using those features to then say they're not Black.
But it's obviously they're not sub-Saharans.
Okay, so you can be not sub-Saharan and still be Black.
So, but either or, why does it matter? It's okay that those features are exclusive to full-blown sub-Saharan people.
Okay, my question is, what is your basis for categorizing somebody as Black, if that is the case?
Well, in America, my basis for categorizing someone as Black or someone as Black is because that's how America operates. It's
No. Like, what is it that is making somebody Black? Like, what are you like using to diagnose this?
So it's how they represent, or it's how they present. So it's typically a combination of features. So you can tell someone who is of African descent versus someone who is of, Spanish or Mexican or European descent. There are common characteristics. Those follow those specific races. And what I'm saying is in America, if you fall under that presentation, then you are classified as Black. Right. So go ahead.
So are Italians not white? Hear me out. So Italians aren't white people, correct? Because they don't look like Anglos.
Mm-hmm. So in America, they are white.
But don't you think that we should be?
Wait, hear me out. I watched Fox News a couple times. They will get those hosts will get up there and say openly, those aren't white people. They will openly say Italians aren't white people. So how are they white again if the Anglos don't view them as white?
Right.
And they're only white on a piece of paper?
Right. So again, America has a racial caste system. When even Italians check a box, even for like a job interview or something like that, they're not checking Italian. You have the option to check white. Italian isn't a race.
Okay, I want to jump in real quick.
The point.
Hold on. I want to jump in real quick. You've given us the view of race in America, but I want to know what your specific view of race is. I don't care what American society says it is. I want to know what you think it should be.
I don't think we should have race. I think we should just uphold our ethnicity.
But so then why aren't you fighting for that?
Because until then, me as an American, I still have to operate in the system that's set. And right now I'm for the progression against white supremacy. And the best way to do that is to galvanize all people under the Black umbrella.
If that was the best way to, no. If that was the best way to do that, don't you think we would have already done it? Considering the decades and decades and decades of us doing this.
Yeah. So I think just because we haven't reached, so I think just the fact that we haven't reached the finish line shouldn't negate the progress that we've made.
I'm not saying that Black people have not made progress and strides of dismantling white supremacy. However, I think that we need to start viewing race outside of an American lens, outside of the box, because it's very rigid in America in ways that it's not across the world. And once Americans wake up and realize that it's not black and white and this is wrong, then I think we will have more progress. You're sitting up here saying that we're wrong, because we're identifying in this middle ground or whatever the case, or outside of this caste system. But isn't that a good thing? Shouldn't we not be using the caste system? Shouldn't we not be using the one-drop rule? Because those are known to be harmful things.
Yeah, so I do think it's important to have, when mulattoes or people who are mixed want to have their own space or be recognized and things like that, I think that's great. But when we're talking about trying to combat or just for progressive measures in America, the reason why it's counterproductive to fracture the Black and brown community is because that's not happening.
Whoa. Pause for a moment. Why'd you say brown?
Because I'm including Mexicans and certain Latino communities.
Why do they have to be under the umbrella of Black people?
So when we're talking about progression in America against white supremacy, the best way to do that is in numbers.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this: why would anybody side with the big-nosed Negro when he doesn't do anything in his own community and he has no tangibles whatsoever? That makes no logical sense.
Right. So you would have to substantiate the Black community not making any progress.
No, they have to present to everybody else why they need to side with them.
No, you made the claim though.
No, that's the point. Why would I say, okay, what are they presenting for anybody to side with them?
Right. So one of the best reasons to
No. What do they have to offer? Tangibles. Why would Mexicans side with Black people when Mexicans have their own businesses, they work together, they have everything they need in their own communities?
Iberian.
So here, let me answer him real quick, Mvlato.
I want to add something else.
Wait, hold on. Because here in America, one of the reasons why we have this presidency that we have now with Trump being in office and him deporting the brown people is because collectively Black and brown people didn't stand together politically and vote against it.
Iberian, let me say something. Let me add something. First of all, I want to clarify, Iberian. not only Mexicans all have all they need. Sometimes black people do attack Mexicans on a rate. I have seen countless videos, bro, of black people calling Mexicans wetbacks, like go back to your fucking country. I've seen that a lot of times.
And what are Mexicans saying to black people?
And secondly, native, you have to be fair. These people that are being deported, the majority are Venezuelans, like basically from my country. And the reason why they're being deported is because
Mexican.
Let me talk. The majority, let me finish. The majority of Venezuelans, bro. The majority he's deporting right now are Venezuelans. And the reason he's doing this is because those people are recent. They came on the border like 1 year ago, basically have no residency or whatsoever. And I think that's a whole different talk you're giving there, you know?
So that's not true. But we can debate that in another time. So the reason why what you said, what are black people saying about Mexicans? What are Mexicans saying about black people? And we can talk about the whole caste system that even resides within Mexico. But to answer your question, Iberian, to answer your question,
hold on, Iberian, let him finish. Let him finish real quick.
Wait, just let me land, because you asked me what benefit would anybody have to unite with the big nose Negro, and I would say right now we're under administrations that actively deporting brown people, Africans, anyone who's not white tea. And if we would have stood together politically, we wouldn't be under this administration that's trying to bring on white tea supremacy. So that's what uniting with the big nose Negro would do.
So you basically told me bullshit. Okay,
does
the big nose Negro have businesses? Who is he employing? Who is he employing? Well, name me his grocery store chains. Name me something that's a chain that like businesses. Like for example, Vallarta is in California. There's a big chain of grocery stores that are owned by Mexicans. Name me something that what the big nose Negro's doing.
Right. So you would have to argue.
Dropping soap.
Wait. So you want me to give you specific black businesses?
No. A chain. Just name me a chain. Like those Ralph's. It's kind of like a little chain store, chain grocery store. Vallarta, Superior.
So wait, you want me to argue? Wait, so you want me to argue the fact that Black Americans don't have a monopoly in a corporate sector?
Okay, so you know what? Hold on a sec. We don't even have to go this far. Just look at the Black community. Look at their actual communities. Look at their status in America, and tell me if. Like if I were some other group of people and I was like, okay, I want to unite with them, that's what I'm gonna get. That's what they've been able to do hundreds of years in America. Like, and how many years post slavery, post Jim Crow, and this is what we get. Like,
right. So again, when we talk about the progression in America, civil rights was literally led by Black Americans. If we want to talk about what happened to the Black community, one of the most highly educated demographic in America are Black women. When we talk about Black businesses are growing exponentially. Whether they're a monopoly or not, that's not the question, but there are Black businesses. So I'm just confused right now, because right now the fact that police have cameras on their jacket is because of the George Floyd movement from Black people. Cops affect all minority groups, and it was Black people who led to police reform. So I'm not understanding where you guys aren't understanding that Black people have led civil rights in America.
No, again, you said a thing. They've led civil rights. Okay, let's grant you that. Still, look at the state of their communities. Look at the state of the people. Look at their status. Look at what they've built, and it's still not something that I would admire and be like, yeah, I think I want to join with these people. Like, no.
Right. So I can't argue whether you don't like someone based off of I'm not sure what you're arguing, but I can present you.
They don't have, their community looks like a fucking shithole. It looks like Fallout 76. God damn.
Wait, so are you saying that all Black people live in poverty?
No, in comparison, we're talking about a collective level. Their community looks like a shithole.
In comparison to who?
Every
other community.
Right, so you would have to substantiate that, because 17% of Black people live in poverty. About 16% of the Latino Mexican community lives in poverty. There are trailer parks, there are hoods for every community. So I'm confused why you're only regulating that to Black people.
Oh, no, the proposition is to team up with foreign Voltron with Negroes.
Wait, so I'm not understanding why you're only regulating negative stereotypes to black people when it functions in all communities.
Well, what's the okay? But you're saying that everyone needs to team up and form Voltron with Negroes.
Right.
The other groups don't give a shit about forming Voltron.
Right. So then you don't understand how politics works. That's my issue.
Why the hell would they? Who would be subservient to niggas? That is fucking stupid.
So
Okay.
you're not. That's not what I said.
Okay.
You're not listening.
No. You're painting it like everyone needs to come under the umbrella of black people.
That's not what I said.
So,
That's kind of exactly what you said.
I said unity.
you. Why would they unite with niggas?
So again, politically, it's stronger against white supremacy. What aren't you getting?
Wait a minute. Whoa. The Negro can't even take care of his kids. You're telling me he's going to be able to battle the white man?
Are you understanding the point I'm making with politics?
No. That's the politics. He can't take care of his kid.
Right. So do you understand what a voting block is?
Bro, it doesn't matter if you can't do basic things in your community.
It does.
Like a voting block. No. Your voting block means shit if you can't maintain a basic level of community.
So that makes no sense when you vote together for progressive policies.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, you can vote all you want, but you have to actually get off your ass and do a thing.
Right. So then you would have to. So then your claim is that all black people. So wait, then your claim is that all black people are lazy. So you would have to substantiate that.
Poverty.
You would have to substantiate that. You're just saying shit.
Okay, so your argument is that black and brown people should work together to dismantle white supremacy.
Yes.
I don't think that anybody is necessarily denying that should happen.
Well, him on the top is.
I disagree, but that's a whole different conversation.
Okay, can you give me tangibles, real things?
Iberian, he's not gonna give you that. You already asked that question, and he gave you an answer. I wasn't satisfied with the answer. You're not satisfied, so he's just. We just have to accept that answer.
Host, real quick. So I need you to understand where my biggest thing is coming from. Is talk about uniting politically to push progressive legislations. That's where I'm coming from.
Well, okay, so I'm going to be different on this case than I think maybe some of the other people here, but I have no political goals, no political ambitions. So coming at it from a political angle isn't going to work for me because I want nothing to do with politics.
Right. So then you would have to. Well, then I guess I can't argue that. I guess progressive legislation doesn't matter to you then.
It doesn't matter about political allegiance. If you see that somebody is not accomplishing anything at all in their own community, why would somebody side? It doesn't matter about the political ideology. Like you can't name anything.
So can you substantiate not doing anything in the community? So what exactly are you saying?
Your whole proposition is for other groups to work with the Negro to do a thing. The Negro needs to provide us something, but you can't name off anything.
Okay, let me hold on. Hold on a sec. Iberian, let me challenge you on this. So what? Let's assume we're talking about uniting with some other group of people. Any group of people you can think of in America, what can another group of people give us or provide for us? Let's say if we were to unify with them in some way.
I didn't say me personally. I'm not saying anybody needs to unify, but this is what Mexicans. They run a lot of grocery store chains. You could seek employment through there. Mechanics, a lot of trades that Mexicans do. This is coming off the top of my head. So like those type of things, but mainly employment's very important. Like political ideology, that's kind of like that shouldn't be involved with. That's like individual, but like those type of things are more important. Like employment.
So basically, a lot of these other groups, they, let's say
they do employ their own. Like there's like a chain of Japanese, a little chain of Japanese grocery store in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. So I get your point. You're basically saying that they have created businesses which has thus created jobs that they can offer you so that you as a person can support yourself and sustain your lifestyle or whatever. And okay, so NativeSunGod, would you agree that like small business ownership is not particularly high in the Black community?
I can't. You can't. I can't. I would have to see evidence for that. You would have to say that black people. You would have to say that black people don't own businesses.
No, I'm not making an extreme statement like that. I'm merely saying, would you agree that small business ownership is lower in the black community than it is, let's say, in the white community, for example?
By sheer numbers, yes, but that's not
even percentage wise.
Yeah,
that's
even
not
per capita.
percentage wise, because black women own a number of businesses, whether it's salons, whether it's makeup, whether it's a lot of things. So I'm not understanding the argument because
Okay,
I'm
bro,
talking about.
bro, okay,
wait,
the
no, you're
argument
no.
is-
What you're wait, hold on, because the reason why I'm not understanding the argument is because this has become a comparison thing on what community does better, and my angle specifically is trying to combat white tea supremacy, but that doesn't seem to be an issue for anybody.
I don't give a shit about white tea supremacy.
Okay, then okay.
I disagree. I think that white tea supremacy does affect us.
Well,
Like, I think
I don't
that we
doubt
should-
that. I don't doubt that it affects us, but me speaking from my own personal experience, I haven't experienced it enough for me to make it like a cause that I need to fight for. And the few times that I have experienced it, I found a way to deal with it and I resolved it and I moved on. When it comes to the black community, like their number one goal is fighting white tea supremacy. And that's a big reason why I don't view myself as like belonging to that group, because it's not a big deal for me. I trust me, I live in the reddest part of a red state and I still don't have this issue with like white tea supremacy.
Right, so it's
I
not a
think-
big issue for me personally either, but I still understand it affects the country.
I think that it doesn't have to affect me like interpersonally throughout my day for me to know that it is a huge issue, and I wouldn't even be here in these predicaments that I'm in if it weren't for white supremacy or other people. I can have empathy for other people who suffer from white supremacy more than I do, you know?
Oh, I have empathy, but I'm not gonna make myself responsible for their problems.
No, I get that. And I'm not saying you should be responsible. None of us should be responsible for dismantling white supremacy on our own. But I think we all kind of can have a hand in helping dismantle it. But going back to that, NativeSunGod, how do you think that like us delineating from a Black identity is anti-Black? Or like how is that not working towards dismantling an anti-Black caste system?
Well, again, like I said earlier, I think everyone has multiple identities. So having or creating a space all for yourself, because off a common experience, that's an awesome thing. But when that space is created based off of negative connotations about one group, that's when it starts to get problematic. When you are creating a space,
Wait, isn't that exactly what you do about white people? You're talking about negative connotations about a one group of people, and that's literally how you feel about white people.
Right. So, but I have evidence to substantiate.
Oh, okay. And you think we don't?
If we were to say that we have evidence to substantiate that Black people treat us differently or treat us poorly based on our identities or who our parents are or our lineages, we would be called anti-Black for making that statement. And it's not that I hate Black people. I love Black people. I love my Black family. I love the fact that I'm part Black, but it's like it's a double standard, and us calling that out shouldn't be deemed as anti-Black. I think that there could be some maybe anti-Black rhetoric, but I don't think that us standing our ground is anti-Black in itself.
Right. So standing your ground and combating prejudice isn't a bad thing, but no Black person holds a monopoly over a mixed race person to seriously affect your life. So that's a difference when I talk about combating white tea supremacy. I'm combating a concentration of wealth and power on one group. Personally, prejudice.
Whoa. Well, hear me out. Native. How are we supposed to fight white supremacy when the big-nosed Negro is doing anything necessary to date outside his race and mainly get with white women?
85% of Black men are married to Black women.
85.
How many Black men are married,
Sure,
though?
actually, Black women or mixed women identifying as Black?
Right. So Ibrahim, I can't really argue your feelings or rhetoric, so that's why I don't really know where to go with this conversation.
I think he was pretty clear. I think the point that Iberian's trying to make is that a lot of these women that Black men are supposedly marrying are not actually black. They identify as black, but they're actually mulattas or some other kind of mixed race person.
But again, a lot of this is I think, I feel, I see. I can only go by what's concrete. And right now, the only evidence I have is for married
I
black.
ask for concrete things. I get nothing. I've asked you several times for some reason, for any reason, for other groups to side with African Americans.
And I've given you my answer politically, and that didn't suffice.
No, I don't give
know
up. I don't give up. No, I want tangibles. You won't accept abstracts from me. Now I'm not accepting abstracts from you. Tangible.
Political alliance isn't abstract.
That's very abstract. I don't think we can measure that. Can we, Mvlato?
So, wait, what do you think I mean when I say unity?
Why would they? But you need to present something to another group for them to even take you serious.
Right. So political progressive measures is the reason for that unity.
Okay, is there a report card of them accomplishing anything? That's not mixed race, led by mixed race people.
Wait, what?
Full sub-Saharan looking people.
Wait, say that one more time.
Okay, things that were accomplished in the black community politically that wasn't led by mixed race people, like somebody that looks an actual black person, not a mixed race man or woman identifying as black and doing anything in the black community. Actual black people.
Was Martin Luther King mixed race?
No, real tangibles, and they actually made a big impact. They're like real tangibles, dude. I don't know what else to say. Like, you have to actually have tangibles for people to side with you.
Yeah, so I don't think you're understanding the paradigm that I'm coming from. That's why you're confused.
I don't give a shit about fucking Anglo.
Okay, hold on. Let me jump in real quick.
Then my answer won't suffice.
Let me jump in real quick about going back to the marriage thing. You're right. The stat is that 85% of married black men are married to black women. So that's not 85% of the black population is that it's, or 85% of black men. It's specifically of the black men who are married, 85% have a black wife. But just going off of ChatGPT now, the percentage of black people that are married is 30 to 35%. Okay. So that's a small percentage of the population. So going to Iberian's point, you now have roughly, 70 to 65% of the black population that isn't married. And now we're left to wonder, who are they with?
Right. So again, you said left to wonder. So the only substantial thing I can bring up to you is marriage. And marriage reflects that we date in within our race. So the only thing you know
that. How do we know that? If all these mixed women are identifying as black women, how would we really know?
Okay, and also not to mention, based on these stats, based on the facts, if only 35% of the black community is married, and then only 85% of black men specifically are married to black women, that's not indicative of saying, I don't think that it's fair to say that black men are dating black women, if that's the case, based on those stats alone.
But that stat supports the idea that black people are marrying within. So you would have to present something to say that broadly they're not.
But it's not really representing that fact either, though. It's saying that when they do get married, this small percentage of, it's just a small percentage.
Yeah, what I would say is that it's an important data point that should be mentioned, but you can't extrapolate too much from that because you're literally only talking about roughly a third of the population, and then trying to imply many other great things. I think you can't just ignore the other 70 to 65%.
Right, but my issue is, if you see that marriage reflects 85% of black people marrying black people, why wouldn't you also bring that idea to relationships in general? Why all of a sudden during relationships is completely different, unless you can refute that?
Because 65% of black people in this country are unmarried. And we see, and how many biracial children are being made every day?
How many?
Many.
Compared to monoracially black people?
We're a minority, so of course we're going to always have lower numbers. But at the end of the day, there's still enough of us that is.
Right. I think my issue is that we have a data point as far as marriage that black people are marrying within each other 85%. But for some reason, we can also assume that in actual... Bro, just let me finish. Damn. But like, we understand that in marriage we're dating within each other, but for some reason during just regular interpersonal relationships and all of a sudden, then it can't be true. Like, you have to present something to say otherwise.
Okay, so every day we get on this app and we see Black women and Black men having a conversation about interracial dating. Mm-hmm. We see it all the time. Even when you walk outside, you see interracial couples. So is that not proof that like Black people are also dating outside of their race?
Yeah, so the argument isn't whether or not Black people are dating outside their race. They are, but we're talking about what the majority is doing.
Would you say that the majority of Black men are getting into committed relationships, long-term committed relationships that lead to marriage with Black women? Majority of the Black community is doing that.
I mean, I can't quantify that. You can only do that by marriage.
Right, and the marriage stats are pretty low, so I don't think that we can make that claim.
Yeah, but even within that marriage stat, you can see that it's still with other Black people.
I mean, if that statistic is based on Black people, like marrying Black people, yes, of course. But if we bring up another statistic about how many Black people are marrying and dating outside of their race, then that would be a different story.
Yeah, we can bring that up. I don't have that source. But if 85% of Black people who are being reported as being married are married to other Black people, then the rest of the percentage would still be lower.
We're gonna end this because I'm sick of talking about who Black people are being with. But I will just as a final thought on this one, like it's also important to recognize that a lot of these people, these so-called Black women that the Black men are marrying, a lot of them are probably going to be Mvlatas or some other kind of mix. No, we don't have the number for that, but I mean, come on. You yourself, NativeSunGod, know that we operate under the one drop rule. So you know there's actually, the number of Mvlatas included in that stat is not zero. It's definitely not zero.
Okay. I do have a quick question before I just got to drop real quick. But remember during the beginning of your live, you were reading an article about some biracial people having to look inward and make sure they're not upholding like white supremacy. And then during the conversation, when I brought up about unifying between Black and brown people, the immediate things were to say, well, all these negative connotations about the Black community. Do you see how you prove that article?
No, because the way that I talk about Black people is the same way that you talk about white people.
So we have systemic power over people?
The same way you talk about white people, whenever you talk about all these negative things about white people, okay? You believe you are justified in saying those negative things because you or other people you know have experienced racism from those people. Well, guess what? We also have experienced racism and a lot of negative things from Black people. So whenever we talk about those issues, you are instead of listening, you are saying, you know what? Actually, you're the problem. It's not those racist people that attacked you. You're the problem. So no, I'm not tolerating that.
Because the issue is there is no monopoly of power Black people have to impose on mulatto people. So yes. you're describing prejudice and you're describing some people who are just jerks.
Hold on, Black people. Okay, so let's go to the most basic form of power, which is physical violence. You're saying Black people can't impose physical violence on mulatos?
Not as a whole. We don't collectively have that capability.
Yes, what are you talking about?
And you have to present to say that that's happened.
Yes, you do.
Oh wait, okay, hold on. You think there's never been a case where Black people have initiated violence against mulatos? That's never happened.
Collectively, no. Like,
what do you mean by collectively? No. All it needs is one person. Okay, a group of two people. That's a collective. A group of two people.
Can I say something? Can I say something, Mvlato?
Go ahead.
You're referring only on the American context, native.
I am, yeah. I can't really speak on other countries.
All right, go ahead. Mvlato, you don't have any cases of G-side or any type of attacks to mixed race people in your neighborhood or something like that?
No, so in America, there's no cases of a group of Black people coming specifically from mulatto people.
Yes, there is.
I mean, not documented, no, but I'm sure that there have been cases where, like, in a neighborhood, a group of Black people have jumped a biracial person, whether it be because they're biracial or not. Like,
we've heard it.
I mean-
we have people in our community who have told us that this has happened, and I think it's absurd to believe that Black people are these angelic beings who are superior to everybody. They would never initiate violence against another group of people. That's an untenable position to have.
That's no one said that. Anybody can be violent.
So then you agree that Black people do have the power to initiate physical violence against mixed race people, and they have done it, right?
Not collectively.
Yes, they have.
so-
Two people is a collective.
That's a bit of a reach.
Okay,
But,
what number?
I mean,
What number is a collective? Give me a number. What number is a collective?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like a community, like upwards of like 100 or more.
That's a ridiculous statement. Okay, that's ridiculous. A collective is just a group of people. Okay, and yes, groups of Black people have initiated violence against mixed race people, so they do have power, and they do
groups of
commit
mulatto
acts of
people
aggression
have-
against us.
Well, groups of mulatto people have done that against Black people.
And groups of Chinese have done it to Japanese people. Okay, what's the point of this?
So the point is that Black people arguing systemic issues.
okay, so can I ask you, you also believe that Black people cannot be racist, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what is the definition of racism? Is it not the act of prejudice and discrimination based on race?
No, so there's a few reasons. So one of the reasons why Black people can't be prejudiced.
No.
is
So what
because-
is the definition of racism if it's not that?
Right. So racism includes systematic powers that someone can have over someone.
Okay,
and
so
the very
no.
creation of racism came out of the idea of a white tea person. Only white tea people can be racist.
No. So
Yes.
in the definition of racism it includes systemic, interpersonal. There's a couple other in the definition itself, but it's not just systemic.
Right,
It
but
is
you would have
also
to be
interpersonal.
but you would
And
have to be in the group that can also project systemic power for it to be racist.
Okay, let me
Right,
jump in
so
real quick.
Would you say that?
Let me jump
like,
in
a
real quick.
Black
I got a quick
person-
question because okay, so would you say that like Mexicans in America have like systemic power?
No.
No. Okay. So if a group of Mexicans walking down the street saw a Black guy and they call him the M word in Spanish, okay, and they beat his ass, was that not a racist attack?
That was prejudice.
So that wasn't if you literally go around in roving gangs attacking Black people because they are Black, that is not racism.
If you're not white, that's prejudice.
That's not,
Okay,
you're
but
saying
the
that's not
definition
racism.
of
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's prejudice.
The definition of racism is prejudice based on race.
With systemic power.
Native, I'll
No.
give you this much. At least you're consistent with that logic. Because if we asked that question to a Bantu, he would have said that Mexicans were racist. But that would have
No, he's only saying that because he's in an argument. If you saw that on the news, NativeSunGod, you would say, "Oh man, racism in America is such a problem." You would not be saying this position. You're only saying this because you got caught. And this is a terrible position. Literally, Mexicans, Asians can go in roving gangs, lynching Black people, and you would say that is not racist. That is
it also
absurd.
depends it also depends because white tea or because Mexican isn't a race, so you can be a white tea Mexican. You can be
Can I say something?
you can be an
No.
indigenous.
Okay,
You can be
can I
an
say something?
indigenous Mexican.
Okay, let me say something. Let me say something. We are referring to the mixed Mexican, like to the average mestizo.
Like a mestizo.
Mixed race Mexican. The majority of them are mixed race though. So we're talking about the average mixed race Mexican. Yeah.
I don't know. Selena Gomez is kind of.
Selena Gomez is
Wait. It's not a claim though. Like the vast majority of Mexicans are mixed race. You have white Mexicans for sure. You have Black Mexicans. You have mixed race. The majority are mestizo or mulatto or something else. So that's a fact, right? So let's say the majority of mestizos, mulattoes, pardos, whatsoever, in the communities in California, in gang groups, whenever they see a Black person, hey, mayate, they surround him, they beat his ass up, they hung him from a tree and call him nigger.
Yeah.
That's not racism.
That's prejudice. That's
What?
Yeah.
That's not racism.
Yeah, it's prejudice.
Bro, this is Racism is not for real, bro.
Because I don't think you guys understand what racism is. I think that's why.
No, you're
lying.
just trying to change the definition of racism because you think black people are superior, so you cannot have them be quote racist. So you have to change everything so that they can just do whatever they want without any accountability. That's all this
No,
is.
you get.
What
no,
is the definition of racism? Like if we Google it right now, it's going to tell you exactly what it is, which is prejudice based on race. And that can include social interactions, personal interactions, and also systemic. But those three things are like separate. Those are three separate types of racism. Yes, they are three separate types
No,
of racism.
because systemic isn't. You can't remove systemic from racism.
He's going to talk about the systematic shit. Even if you talk about the systematic power, black people, mestizos, Mexicans, whites, they still each group have systematic power to be racist in different aspects, bro.
I would argue that black people.
Not in America.
No. I would argue that black people in America, born in America, black Americans, they have systemic power over, let's say, an immigrant from Central America.
Hold on, we don't even have to go that far. Hold on,
No,
hold
don't.
on. So you agree? Would you say that black people don't have systemic power?
No,
So voting doesn't matter,
it does.
but that's systemic power.
Right, but that's not the majority.
But that's systemic power, and black people can vote. So
Right, but if we go by
either
that-
have to say black people don't have systemic power, and voting doesn't matter, or voting does matter, therefore they do have systemic power.
Right, but systemic voting isn't just a measure of systemic power because Mexican people are outnumber black people, so they have systemic power as well.
That's irrelevant because black people can, and they literally do this, they can convince other people to vote on their behalf, to vote for
Well, it's
issues
not
that
on
would
their
benefit them.
behalf.
So that's
on
ridiculous.
progressive.
The whole point is you believe that voting matters, and you believe that voting is power. So therefore, black people have systemic power.
No.
Okay, so if black people have
Hear me out, Nita. You know how you're talking about everyone coming under the umbrella of black people, right?
No, that's not what I said.
No, you
That's what you
emphasized-
said.
Wait, I'm sorry.
okay.
Wait.
Look.
Are you talking about when I said black and brown unity? Or when I'm talking about the identity of
Yeah.
mulattoes? Oh, yeah, in America, yes.
So why don't black people instead of the other way around, they go be subservient to another group and be under their umbrella and take orders from them? Does that make more sense?
So this isn't a power struggle, bro.
Oh,
While you're literally trying to get power.
yeah.
I'm trying to get progressive measures made that benefits everybody.
And
If
you
black
need
people
power
win-
to do that.
Yes, if black
just
people
curious.
win,
Wait.
everyone wins.
What about the East Indians? Do you really think the East Indians are going to side with black people when they are I think they're the number one performing group in the country economically? So why would they side with black people?
Well, if they want to get citizenship in this country, it would be a good idea to go with progressive measures.
But they're not getting anything out of it, siding with black people. I mean, they could just
Right,
form their
so-
own group and then advocate for themselves.
Right. So if they just voted by themselves, they wouldn't get much done. So that's why it's a numbers game.
But
Okay, hold on. Okay, so NativeSunGod, thank you for joining.
Yep.
I'm gonna end it there, at least with you. So I'm gonna kick
right.
you out. But yeah, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for all the likes. I'll show my YouTube. Papa Mulaton at Papa Mulaton on YouTube. That's where I have my long form content. I also post clips from my lives. So go check me out there. I'll check y'all out next time. See ya.
Later, bro. Later. Thank you for having me on Mvlato.
Bye.